securities when you go on the street, they only see the medics they move, and also the securities also then at the streets of Kenema, and also the journalism they move around for 6 years, they get their informations. All radio stations and they all now they give informations, and everybody don't tune into the different radio stations. So in general, Kenema look calm. The securities really they on top of situation. Today we're not able to get anything because inside the first day, the first lockdown where the president began for pronounce, one of the things where the people they complain about many times where they began for open radio lines and that the securities and they intimidate people them. That is, they use cane them for beat people them. They don't observe the human rights of them particular people them. But today they see the securities they pass without any cane on the hand, and they also then strategic point them. The security business they go on normal na Kenema. So the center of Kenema look calm. Everybody they inside they compound them. You know, they see anybody outside except the one them say where they say now the medics them, and that's of the security people them. Where for /IRN, Mina Abraham Jacob Sheriff the report na Kenema.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa,
Plenty thank you to Ibrahim Jacob Sharif from Kenema. From Kenema now we come na Kisi Road, and Yari from Cherno Almami Kamara from Justice FM.
Well, the atmosphere na Kisi Road is relatively calm and quiet. Everybody then are in compound. You know, they see people and they move around the street. Well, I don't know if now with this lockdown meet up the first month, but as I talk to you, everybody then are in compound now, and they prepare for the evening sunakati for Gideon people for the first month. You know, they see people in the street. Also, the other important thing is pump them lock. So I go tell you now, say nobody in the streets compared to the first lockdown wherein people they move about the streets, they find water. But this one now, the pump then lock, everybody then are in compound. Like the main Kisi Road also, you know, they see people in the street, except one people that will hang at them veranda them. But they know they move in the street and just hang at them veranda and they observe what they go on. Well, the security in your side, the security sector, they on top of situation. They make sure say this time round, then they move about the streets the way they off Kisi Road up and down, for make sure say people then maintain the lockdown and they inside and compound them compared to the first lockdown. We see say the security personnel they know they move na the streets there where they off Kisi Road, but this one different. The security personnel and they all over you, they see them and they ensure say people they inside their compound. Well, also I'm not able to get any report of somebody where don't sick where they prompt them for call 117. Nobody, no incident of that I'm able to get it wherein somebody don't sick we and they able to call 117 for can pick them up. So now then they are able to get that. For now I will continue for update to now as things them they unfold now this part of the city. Well, for IR and Corona special update, this now channel Almami Kamara of Justice FM, the report from Kisi Road.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, brother, sister, mama, papa,
From Kisi Road inside Freetown, we dey go Kabbalah. Also, we get Margaret Miso Mansare from Bintumani Radio.
I want to say ado to all the people that really get me through IRN. Well, for inside Koinadugu district, well, like the first day of the 3 days sit at home, where His Excellency the President, we don't declare 3 days lockdown. People within Koinadugu district really they observe during this particular first day. And before this particular first day, the district health management team, headed by the district medical officer, Dr. Foni, been don't really come on board and been try for mobilize. We are in the train people them way in BC get for go out for sensitize people them host-to-host sensitization, talk to them about COVID-19, how they go able for prevent themselves. And this already don't start inside the first day of this particular sit at home. Then same way, so Red Cross may also support this particular host-to-host sensitization, including restless, street child, and other partner them. But in a whole, the 3 days sit at home inside Koinedugu district, really then the observer security people they really they intact for CC they enforce the law where the president don't pull. And same way, so healthcare workers then they not sit them just one side. The one then way in BC then the district health management team then come on board for CC then go and talk to people then. There is a megaphone also safe way then they use for spread out information, including the emergency operations center when at the EOC and the district emergency operations center when at the DIOC also self come on board, put hands together for see like then carry out sensitization where in people they go. They're going to talk to people, and also the vehicle them where they hire, we are in the mount speaker them also say for pass on key information. Well, for IRN, Mina Margaret Misoman Sari, the reports for Kabbalah.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't enough king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, brother, sister, mama, papa, The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN. The baton we country salon for make we get level playground. Now I don't enough for make you know but you country.
Well, from Kabbalah, we come now at Salone. Usai Kelvin Kamara, na Lion Mountain Radio, self gets more for we.
The 3 days lockdown we start today Sunday na the Waterloo, the district headquarters of the Western Area Rural District Council. Well, inside the Waterloo Township, peaceful. People in their home then, they observe the 3 days lockdown. Some areas then where I don't visit, you will find out say 2-3 people then sit down, they discuss, they listen to radio, and even at the streets, they see patrol team from the military and the police. The LUC, they interact together with the DEOC, the district emergency operation center. Then committee they go around for observe and do surveillance. And also inside one area na Toke, where in one incident happened there, according to the village head for Toke, one lady be comot na Makeni, he say come on Makeni for can see a man where they Toke. And they therefore ask him how he managed for reach Toke yesterday. Well, he say he gets pass, where he buy the pass 150,000 according to the allegation. But when they ask him for the pass, he not be able for producer. So later, then find out say he be go sleep to one boy where himself. Well, in the woman say he become for can see a man, he not able for see a man. So this boy be get for see him, himself go lodge him. So then be get for hand him over to the police, and they be in a police custody. But the surveillance team, we headed by the district medical officer, be reached there, and the district medical officer don't give advice since the place too far from Usai Isolation Center there. So he advised that make them take the lady back to the host Usai the ABC and lodge them so that they will guarantee that particular OCA for the moment. But so far, now the Western Rural, peaceful for now. Waterloo Township, very quiet. You will move around, you see people and sit down, they listen to radio and stuff. Now some certain places you see people and put Veronica buckets, they observe the hand washing. Well, for situation reports for IRN / Corona, me and Kelvin F. Kamara, the report from Waterloo, Western Rural.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't enough king for Gud Mornin Salone and development.
that's now being reporter Kelvin, where we the report from Waterloo, Kelvin Kamara. I mean, they tell we how the first day of the lockdown talik. Famulem, we get Boku other parts of the country for go, but the time from the studio clock right now na 6 o'clock. Not forget say, this na the Sludge IRN program where we join hand together for bring can to you for sake of the 3 days lockdown. And my co-presenter na
Mohamed Basiru Sanusi.
and me na Patricia Ganda. But then my co-presenter get for left me and we dey go to 8 o'clock because now 12 hours we dey do. So Bash, I go like for like tell family and goodbye and I go like for tell you thank you.
Well, family already listening, carry on for stay tuned to your radio because now the trusted form for information in the country, according to research. Social media, they do them best, but radio still they take the lead. And Sergeant I and Cam with this wonderful program for make sure say we curtail the fake news all about the country. And as of the latest updates from world meters and WHO, now over 3.5 million people in the world don't get this coronavirus sick. We don't get over 247,000 deaths and over 1 million don't recover. That should say Corona Day real will continue for maintain all the preventive measures there. We're still there, and I know one for self paying. Thank you to all my don't take the time for listening. As my own segment they come to an end now. Thank you to me executive producer James Tambalebi, producers then Alaji Wusha Conte, Daniel Amara, and Kevin Lamin Lamdo, and to my own boss I get opportunity for day close to Commissioner Ganda. I want to say Madam Karim to you as well. And please stay safe.
Thank you very much, Bash.
And now you cope with the mask.
Well, I must say the mask is not easy. Honestly, it's tormenting, but you just get for wear because you get for keep yourself safe. We know they go, now Bash they go, because Bash done day from the second session, you know, and a fast man, he really don't try for we. So thank you very much, Bash. But fumble them. We get 2 hours more where we do the Sludge IRN Corona update. Remember, say you can watch we live now www.radiodemocracy.sl courtesy of Osiwa. Let me take a break. We will definitely come right back. And when we come back, we will definitely come with a bang.
IRM, don't team up king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. The Independent Radio Network, IRM, don't team up king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN, the baton we country salon, for make we get level playground. Now IRN don't enough, for make you know about your country. They give voice to you, man them. They give voice to woman them. All political party them. Right across the country. You go to the east, and you go to the west, you go to the north, and you go to the south, IRN say yes to tolerance. We all get the rights. IRN say no to violence. No mix perfect like a blabber. But we all work together with one word. Cause now so we go help for make salon. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. culture, energy and power, in social welfare, for human rights, anything but development.
Good evening and welcome back to this wonderful program where Sludge and IRN they bring on to you a special Corona update. Fumble, before we take break, we will they go round for know how the first day of the 3 days lockdown they go. And the last person where we've been talked to na Kelvin Kamaya, now Waterloo na Lion Mountain Radio. From there, we they go to Almami Ture, na mile 38. We send for we 2 report. But let me listen to the first report from mile 38 checkpoint area.
Well, Fambul, as today happened for be the first, day of the national lockdown, and this lockdown happened for be the second national lockdown we experienced in the country. Today we did now mile 38 checkpoints now as they speak. We say we look at the Caribbean Manor House security business style like now the checkpoints. Well, according to waiting we get up from the officer, commanding officer for Sika Mile 38 checkpoints, we na ASP for the Suri Fofona. Of course, in we get for Terry say, in terms of security business here, them, the police officers are always ready for man the security way Sierra Leone as them need. Well, this in the guest for Terry say, even as we speak, it don't send about 10 to 15 security apparatus them for applying at different communities them. For see the Caribbean manner how the compliance rates look like na different communities them. Like one community before them 10 they are, where plenty issues them don't they come out. Where na one village where they called Ferima Sampa. Before them 10 they are the first national lockdown. This na one community where like we don't get a lot of issues from. We say people them where reside na this part of the country, not be the agree for abide at all to the rules and regulations of the government. Issue we get for do is national lockdown. We means people them for Sidom outside and day. Well, before they tell them they be comply. But this trip, according to waiting we get up from the ASP for the Suri Fofona for Sika Mile 38 checkpoint. In we get for Terry say indeed these 3 people and they comply because all the boats themselves where people they use for course come inside Putloco district, then command all the boat masters and for keep them boats there by them people go get access to coursing. Well, this be make we self as journalists then be get for pay a visit, including the officer himself, where na ASP for the Suri Fofona na the Ferima Sampa itself. Of course, when we reach the community, we meet one CW, of course, they pass and educate people them. When Amara Kaloko in respect of the compliance rate and safe, even if person sick, the number where you for call or even get in touch with by then in able get in touch with the one the way responsible for Sika the well body business at the country, but then they will take that person quickly to the hospital, then gain medication. Where it also get for services some of the only challenges where they facing na this part of the country na that the Venorica buckets we no day for people them na because like, this na crossing points. They see a single-handed Venorica buckets. Now people them can find out say people them can make use of their warfare after the national lockdown. And before then there are people them be the cost na their places there with no Venorica buckets. A cry to the government say if government go able to help this community with 2 or 3 Venorica buckets by then go able to paste them na then main points there where person come out over the river and go able to make use of them Venorica buckets there even if you come out na Mile 38 safe or anywhere in the country you go make use of them Venorica bucket there or wash your hand with clean water and soap. By then you go able to pass through, but nothing like that's not in the WAF day, so it's like if you get for call on the government for make them go able to pay attention now this part of the country in respect of this national lockdown and this now a strategic area. Well, OC for the biggest for take me also now one community we then call Sungo, if one will recall now one area also we cover Mabang in my bank now one area also where people in the course come, through Songo and go take the route to Freetown or another, you go to the provinces. Where that there again then go down mount another checkpoint there for CC the able man the security business na that part of the country there. Of course, in process of me now inside Maltate checkpoint where we return back, we meet in officers them arrest 2 vehicles them we not get the correct pass. We said them we get for return them back, say no on no account, therefore return back na host, they no will give them way for cost at all. Well, for IRN Corona updates inside Mile 38 Lower Koya Port Local District, Mina Almami Tsugi, the reports.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayelio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayelio.
Still on updates, but how the day one of the second national lockdown they go on? Elizabeth Y. Kamara from Justice FM within Agokel Axis been self-sending reports.
Good day to the team now the studio and good afternoon to all listeners across Sierra Leone. And today happens to be May 4th, 2020, and also now the second time this way we get a lockdown in order for combat the coronavirus, making us spread all about the country. And also for the Croquel community, this time around it happened to be peaceful. We not to see people in the past around like the past lockdown. We are in people then we just they go the new normal way. You go see this me, I go get water. You go see this me, I not get food for eat, I don't go fencing for eat. But this time around it look for be peaceful. And reason being now because this time around we get some security personnel then now different points in our local community. And then different points here so beside the security officers in there, the military there, the police there, and other security themselves there. And any side then get Delta and get different personnel them anyway, where they help for secure and make sure say things then happen right. Because Sierra Leonean really, if they see security person, they can try for be peaceful and they can try for law abiding. So I believe saying that because of that, but this time around, a peaceful people when they go the normal life, na the homestead, so inside there where you go, you meet this the book, this the cleaning house. At least some person they use this 3-day lockdown in order for clean their homestead and then for do other things and so that after the lockdown they will continue back to normal business then where their homestead will be very clean. So like the firefighters themselves they part of this team now locally so where they say the compliments then colleagues them for help them so that the security business is tight na so. And also people them around na local communities still the cry say they need lights na this part of the country. They say because then kind lockdown here so can really want for make themselves the watch television and them for keep safe na their home then and also then people then or then picking themselves go for stay home peacefully, watch film or watch television or do other things and so far. But they themselves get the idea of the coronavirus and not to always in the yegi, but they want to see something practically. So then say they really want to make government put efforts now see some local community or make them get light. Because I believe say local a divide. Then get Simaton and then get container and checkpoints. So container and checkpoint then gets light. For Simaton they say from the origin up till now they never forget lights. But then get cold and they don't fix everything. Then say they never forget the transformer it so that then say when we start to enjoy the benefits of the country. After the talk to us, so I then at the streets of Rokel, I then at the streets at the see different side and very peaceful. Any person where you feel, where you give vehicle pass or bike pass, it will be somebody of authority. Yeah. So like it peaceful as I talk on and the sister the place is very calm and peaceful. But really then still they re-emphasize on the light facility business in this country where they say they really want light na here so far so good for the local community, a peaceful and calm with the support of the security personnel say what we don't name before, where itself we help for push and make sure say peace, love and unity, because some side there if you go do violence then go tell you say this person is bad, so peace no go be there. But the way that they do them, I believe say when they see the uniform self, they can keep to themselves, they can keep home peacefully. So because of this, the local community is very peaceful and calm for now. And then I want to say thank you on the studio and thank you to all listeners in the salon. Now let we stay firm, let we distance ourselves, let we wash we hands them, let we they perform the advice them where the medical personnel they will tell we for do, and so that we go before stay safe and calm. Thank you very much. One more time, Elizabeth White.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo.
From Rokel, we go up na Mantoriel na Freetown. Usai Joseph S. Contego report.
Fabul, good afternoon. I'm Joseph S. Conte. Inside the first day of the lockdown, I work on the mountain areas. We get to deal with Gloucester Village, Leicester Village, tree planting, and different areas within the mountain area. And I talked to the councillor when I Zakaya, where they cover Leicester Village, Gloucester Village, small part per region, and as well tree planting community. I therefore talk to her how the situation look like now the area they are we cover. And one of the things that we point out, they get to deal with, there is lack of communication within the EOC, with our emergency operations center, and as well the councillor there within the western area rural and western area urban. They point out that the lack of Veronica buckets, hand sanitizer, and as well soap. The Veronica buckets they were see around. Now some household them, we mean saying some house them, we don't get buckets. If you look around, I try for come na Regents, Gloucester Village, there is a community center where they are around that side when the side we call First Bridge. Before when I be yesterday, when we get community youth man then we do voluntary job. I try for ask the youth man and we then talk say the Veronica bucket we then get now from individual we volunteer for getting the Veronica bucket as well, the soap we them they use for CC people wash the hand. And one of the reasons why I make them do that, 4 cases, when a confirmed case, we don't come on na Gloucester Village, we mean say 4 people and we don't get coronavirus, we get in contact with the doctor, when a Dr. Ben. And out of them 4 people, according to information I get, 2 don't discharge, we mean say yesterday, 2 don't get well, we don't know well, they don't return back na the house. And 2 of the new case then we come up from Gloucester yet for return to the home. So the concern from the community people, one, we get to deal with the Veronica buckets. We no know forget now like certain junction them like Leicester Junction, Gloucester Junction, and say that they face a serious challenge for getting things in there because they know say despite that they keep to the social distance and as well follow the guideline then from the Ministry of Health, the government of Salone and WHO. But they need Veronica buckets and soap. According to the councillor, he points out that say there is lack of communication within the EOC and in what way in FENICEF. He said the only way they can able for achieve or get a success into this fight of coronavirus are when they get a chain of communication. But in point out say they may don't get focus. Two don't discharge and two not discharge it, women say, and still they follow the guideline them. And as well they point out say despite they also not get a challenge with water, but the one for CC then send this message to all Sierra Leoneans for me they maintain social distance as well follow the guideline them from WHO. I also meet with one person we don't take over 93 years na Leicester Gloucester village when I pass Santigi Yamba Sise. We talk about say things that will be happen before we get for deal with violence. Don't they calm down now? But the message we they want for send to the government, they need soap, they need hand sanitizer, they need Veronica bucket. All of the youth man the way they see, they do a voluntary job, but they need help from the government for CC. They able for win the fight against the coronavirus. I also talked with the Chief Kumarabai Kuruma within a Gloucester village. According to him, he say there is no communication where they go on within the councillor, the honourable. He thinks they need to get chain of communication because then they expect they need to get a teamwork so that at the end of the day they go for win this fight. I talked to youth man them around witness their own challenges when they're facing into this coronavirus. According to them, they do voluntary job for talk to themselves so that they go keep off and the greeting, they go only do distance greeting. But they also point out that they need Veronica buckets and as well soap so that they go forgive them youth man they win in a certain points them and see how they go able for send a signal. But again, do not get problem with light, do not get problem with water. But the only thing we then get for see that EDSA, most of them will go for good top up yesterday so that they go forget credit na the meter according to the one that way they sell give them say then get a system problem. Till now as I speak there's still a complaint in relation to that. Some of them not able for top up the meter because since yesterday some of them they left the money to certain people where they top up for make them able to get lights. But now one of the sad things where they happen at this community where they explain that they not able to get top up now the meter we get it cause they not able to get lights. But they want for talk to the appropriate people them so that they go for talk to EDSA, assist them when they complain about, then go for amend them so that they go for make 1 or 2 call and able to get lights so that they go for sit down at their home and feel happy.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayelio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayelio. The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN. The baton we country salon for make we get level playground. Now I ain't done enough for make you know about your country. They give voice to you man them, they give voice to woman them, all political party them, right across the country. You go to the east, and you go to the west.
From Mount Torel na Freetong, we they go now inside Ferry Masampana Lower Koyat. Put local districts also go join Almami Ture again for reports.
Family today na Sunday the third day inside the month of May 2020, and today happened for be the very first day of the national lockdown. As this happened for be the second national lockdown. I did my 30 checkpoints now as we speak. Of course, we look at the kind of manner how security look like inside my 30 checkpoints now. Of course, as Mr. Don, they see a lot of police officers. Them, of course, they don't look like the first, national lockdown, because like today, kind of manner way I see personnel them, them really tight up. Of course, the security here, we see, then they get in touch with all vehicles them way they pass through the checkpoints. Even in places of me, I just don't see then you turn about 2 vehicles them way gets a pass at all. So like from this I get in touch with OC for the, of course, we now the OC Delta for Mile Tachich checkpoints in we get for tell you exactly with the mandates where governments give them and serve the authorities them in respect of how they command the security business at this part of the country. That's make even in places of me where vehicle come, we not even get a pass. In places of me, then it's on that vehicle day. This now waiting exactly in the get for 10 me. So this will take me through also. In fact, me and OC for the get for go now one community we then call very much Sampa. Very much Sampa. If one go recall now one community before then they are where we don't report on say now this is a place where people they not agree for comply at all in respect of the last 3 days national lockdown. Well, some of the comments that we will get from people them, like one fellow where we meet na the WAF when Hassan we na community health officer in we get for say we say the reason we make people not be the comply then they are now that thing for it be really tedious for people in at that time they and only way they come over that repeat chiefdom and come na queer they can get waiting exactly for it. This now be the reasons we make then nobody comply. Well, I begin for ask them why compliance this trip. He say, well, this trip, the Caribbean man are waiting see the security apparatus them that the WAP safe. This bring fear to people them. This make all, in fact, even all the local boats they wait and get at this part of the country, make them go keep all them boats there. So it's like this now waiting exactly will be I get forgether now this part of the country in respect of our security business stand like. Of course, OC for the way now the OC in charge of Meltase checkpoints. It will take me through again to a community where they're very close to Songo. Well, it go and tell me exactly how the security business look like in that part of the country beginning. So like we meet a lot of security apparatus. Them they again where they demand the security. They're not even allowed according to them a vehicle or either a motorbike for fly around their routes they need for come my bang come through Songo and use the way for go Waterloo or either come inside Masheka. So it's like in terms of security business here, people they really comply this trip. Now only some areas and no more people they not agree for comply because like radio clean. If you find out say most of the people they go na bush, for go do the small agriculture. So it's like now some of the issues then why we are gather for the very first day of this national lockdown. For IRN Corona updates, Mina Almami the reports live from Mile 38 checkpoints inside Luakwea Putloko districts.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, brother, sister, mama.
Well, we they come out to Mile 38 checkpoint, and this time we they continue, but we they go inside Cambia district, and Mohammed Dafe go report for we. IRN update where they come to you from plenty radio station them inside the country. Not forget say this is not the first day of the 3-day lockdown, and we go there all 3 days them for give you corona update where they come to you from different radio station them all about the country. When they continue with the update as we move around the country, we go come back to Mohammed Dafe and Cambia. Let me see if we don't get her now.
Welcome to Sludge IRN reports from Cambia, Mina Mohammed Dafe. Well, we don't start day 1 today on the lockdown, when a nationwide lockdown. And Cambia district not be left out for CC will not go able to adhere and also link with IRN. That make beaucoup plenty thank you for IRN and Sludge. We then join them together for CC. They will get information right across the country. Well, today, before we move, we will take a thank you because the district coordinator for the Emergency Operations Center in Cambia, Mr. Mohamed Mustafa Dumbuya, he been come na Martina Tonko Lemba Chiefdom and we work out all the Chiefdom headquarters them inside Cambia district and the 10 Chiefdom headquarters them for CC a good familiarization for tell and say in the new person where they don't appoint with President Julius Marabio for CC a take care of the coronavirus business na Cambia district and we work out the district officer owner Mr. Suleiman Kalon and also the deputy ONS coordinator owner Mr. Farouk Cole and other stakeholders and also the CO or commanding officer na Cambia 11 Infantry Battalion, when Lieutenant Colonel Maturi, they all been come and can talk to people as regards to the formation of task force and also for bear up with measures the government put in place for CISO first coronavirus that they been doing. That been give an insight to people for many know say actually they don't get new leadership at the district with already for see how best it come and can talk to people and can tell them about waiting now the fight against coronavirus. They explain certain measures then we government don't put in place for social distancing and also for the curfew and also inter-district lockdown and this curfew don't count at 3 days for people and go adhere to them. People can be adhere to that, the chief authority, especially the chief speaker, Gud Mornin Salone, Bindidi also, Ubengedi, the region chief, Naton Kolimba, Pa Adekali say they all give them commitment and also then give them word for say them will abide and also follow. In that event, they straight away them inform bylaws then at the chiefdom, way for govern the running of the task force and also how people for able abide by rules then way they don't put for fight coronavirus. Well, today we been get partners where they may join me. Now the sensitization team focus 1,000, the district chairperson or coordinator when Madam Asatu Kamara. Then also get people from Gold Sierra Leone. We give help for this sensitization and also for Waka and for Kana various places them na Cambia. They may also get Maristop Sierra Leone and also the Cambia District Council Bengal Sanitation Officer Marilyn Sino. We all been doing at the team for go do sensitization and radio. From there, we get from move village to village and go to na some village and some calling bar. Like for Madina now, don't do sensitization day. We go na Kamatoto, we go na Samaya, we go na Wankifo. Then see how for talk to people about this coronavirus and what to for do. We advise traditional healers them, especially the way the men people traditionally for me them will stop now. And the chairman for traditional leader been there with we in this movement here. When Pafode Fola Samora, the district chairman for traditional healer, inside been talk to members then on radio and also he go village to village and sensitize and tell and say for now, all man for down tool, all man for go down, nobody know for see how they're able to do anything now because this sick here will not get machine, they not get measurement, they not get know-how, so all man for sit down and listen what government say. In fact, we said will go like some place them now the villages stand and say them don't pull the sick man from first lockdown, we don't cancel all sick man they don't dispatch them from all man go and place or discharge them. From there they see how they go abide by rules and regulations. So therefore the task force they are surprised because here the challenge will get the police are not enough at the Madina police station and even at the Kukuna police station not get better police officers them pass them make sure say the chief don't make task force where they work with the police and within the chiefdom for say they're able implement laws them for say them trap anybody who go and come work on a net or other time not for abide by the curfew and other thing they will get sick man maybe they will escape for Canada so that they all them do them in the wake of the eve of the lockdown and also that day in implementation the police station Madina give full support the OC the crime officers and also other people and civil society also join the team where civil society then people are at peace themselves join our radio themselves go on the field and talk to people and see how they are here and we thought we'll do inside Cambia this part all day from Tonkolemba, Brahma and Kormaka will not see any disturbance or people in way they defy the law or would deny say don't go work out. So they even meet up with motorcar or bike, everybody they indoors, in a village, all man they come, will not see anything so far we be say a big challenge. Now some places like people can go get water, now the village stream them, we'll talk to them and say they can go get water, that's not a problem because most of the villages are not get water well, pass and go now na stream, na go get water. That's a problem. Even the township, we will arrange na Madina or a Kukuna place. How people for gonna pump go get 2 or 3 enough for queue because now the area then pump and they did and get water well and they people no go so and host maybe water on and not they then go struggle. So all and they will talk and they also plan as regards to what they for do and what they not for do as regards to the social distancing, then the preventive measures them for use face masks, for avoid public gathering, for make sure say they adhere to laws the way don't put with government for CC will fight this coronavirus wanted as Salone. But people appreciate RN Sludge for this wonderful initiative the last time. They're actually happy and listen to the community radio when our radio card Bamin and they always listen and it's how we go. Even the team will go for Western Style, then talk, say, listen on radio, then they get all the information and say they're just happy because they can meet them face to face and give them more strength, give them more zeal for CC and we will get a way for feed the sick. That's what we promote today. We just come on a feel from Cambia. I feel continue for giving an update as tomorrow that they too go for going out community STEM and continue sensitization and monitoring so far.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio.
And we self they continue as we go now join Augusta Younger where they on standby for we inside Kono District.
As today, the 3rd of May 2020, marks the first day of the 3 days lockdown where His Excellency be done pronounced for happen all about the country. Inside Kono District, basically people and all man in our house, they are there to waiting the president be done talk for. We all stay at home and ensure say we able to fight this COVID-19 fight. Inside Kono, except for the essential workers where you go see at the street, they pass, they carry on for do the normal activities for help. But without that, everybody then are host, they listen to the radio them in relation waiting they go on at the district and the country as a whole. But before now, one key thing, and even now where the stakeholders and the media people and the big and the security people where they man the border crossing point, especially in our Waleum, where we are in. Inside our interview where we get with the Honorable Member of Parliament, when our Honorable Commander, if we make it clear, say, they don't understand, say people like come inside. We are in the meet of people in our Waleo. So like for that, inside the interview, when we get to talk to them, they're big that the security people are not going to allow people for coming. Being that Kono District, now one of the districts, they will not record any cases since this COVID-19 fete don't start. And they want to ensure, say this we maintain her. So say this fete are done, let this sickness not go enter inside Kono. And that's how we go able to achieve them. Now only when the security them do waiting, therefore do for protect the life but make them not allow people for coming and listen to what the president don't say. Well, as the lockdown they carry on, I go continue for the give update. Me and Augusta Grace Younger from Kono District, the report for IRN and Sludge Corona update.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa,
we dey come out Kono and this time we dey go way na the Liberia border. We dey go na Zimi. Usai for the Jaya Kamara. Go tell me what's happen there.
Cabo to people on Radio Land. Well, for the situation report na Sierra Leone Liberia border, it calm and cool. Today will happen for be the first day of the 3-day lockdown. With guy for engage some crossing points them na Makwele and Sorobama chiefdoms as we get 49 crossing points na the 2 chiefdoms. Now that's alarm crossing point. I began for see a team from Zimiton where it began for include the security apparatus, the health workers, the chiefdom stakeholders then for the trial and monitor the crossing points then. Same way so, began for reaching Agendema where also they come and cool situation Agendema is under security control. Same way so, they put a lot of things in place for the quarantine people then. As a lot of grumbling that be done dey na Sorobama chiefdom where they na Pujon district concerning thief, the authorities together with the security apparatus and then give 5 youths them to the officers the way they keep patrol and net for me then deal with them. Well, as for now, the situation now Sierra Leone Liberia border is under control. For IRN, Nina Fodi Jaya Kamara, the report from Zimi.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayeli. Brother, sister, mama, papa,
Well, now there we go tap the correspondence then for today and come back to the studio.
Fambul, we go welcome you to this special program where we call Corona Talk, where they reach you from different radio stations them across the country. Now, the Salone Association of Journalists and the Independent Radio Network come together for bringing this program to you as part of this large Corona Response Initiative. With a broadcast from Radio Democracy on FM 98.1, and you go same way so get we online at www.radiodemocracy.sl, where Osiwa they support and powered by AfriCell, and Youssef can access we program through Radio Democracy 98.1 FM their Facebook page.
During the last lockdown, we've been talking to one scientist from Kabbalah, when a lecturer now both for Abbey College and the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, where we know as Commerce, Professor Alhaji U. Njai, but that is, and he be tell you about the science of the COVID-19 sickness. Make we listen to what TBC.
Hello, Prof. You can get to now. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are they do?
Well, we try for do best, and as we face this first year, so yes, what's I like you view on this coronavirus pandemic as somebody will be done work extensively on the Ebola, same way so in your capacity as a professor in biology and microbiology?
Oh, absolutely. This I not see anything like this in terms of the magnitude and in terms of the destruction we don't do across the world in terms of the challenge. And right now we look at about 1,200,000 and something thousand infections globally. Over 69,000 people don't die, and it keeps for just the go, the peak at this point. So and countries like Africa, they expand now and they begin for affect we now. So, and of course it's challenging because in the middle of all of it we now get an active vaccine at the moment, or active treatment. You go say this specific treatment what they use against them, and also because it's a bit more complex as a virus, because with Ebola you get a clear-cut thing. Ebola catch you get a high chance for die, and you could actually know say somebody sick from Ebola, and you can the mode of transmission by body contact, or you touch the person, so you almost get for stay near the person. So you can be at Abbey College campus where if somebody gets Ebola and you in a Leicester, you not get nothing to do with the issue. So as long as the person is contained. But for this one, very much corona is less deadly than Ebola, but more contagious. So it means that you can catch them either by contact with surfaces where somebody sick gets them, or he also gets a form where you can take them airborne. So like a respiratory, because I respiratory droplets. So then small water where they come away somebody sneeze or cough, and because then droplets and they can able to go in the air, about 1 meter or 2 for the large droplets, then go in the air for 1 or 2 meters, then drop. And so if somebody talk or cough or sneeze near you, you get chances for get the contagion where the person sick. Or if you get also the micro droplets, when a very small fine particles, the way they come out, the same sneeze and cough, then get ability for stay up in the air and last in the air for a couple hours in a very confined space. So like places like una studios or house where it be say windows they all closed. If they indoors, then the air not they circulate much. And so if you then at that house, they will say that somebody sick, then you cough or sneeze, then microparticles when they circulate in the air, you self can get infected, even if the person not there around that moment. So the way in which it cause infection, now don't make and say it infect many more people, many people. So like quickly, like if somebody gets on a campus, one case or two case, it can spread over all these different places because of the nature of in contagion, and also because some people they get them then appear for be okay. Then it's also they call the asymptomatic. They not get any signs say they get them, but still then they transmit them to other people then. And some people then they get them then go fall very sick, or some people can get them then die. So it gets different phases on how it appear in people then, and especially now because it's together asymptomatic pattern, it means it can come into a population like Sierra Leone. Right now they talk about 6 cases. But it not means saying that 6 cases of corona in the country. It means that we don't able to test and confirm 6 cases. We don't know about the asymptomatic population. People will be carriers right now in the population because we not test them. And so we don't know whether then also they even get right now then get very minor kind of reaction to them, but then still infectious. So all them things they make and say it can you can go up on a number very quickly. So like the Italy, for instance, go within 1 month from 16 cases. Within 1 month, you go to 80,000 cases. U.S. go within 1 month, February to March, 16 cases to 100 and so. Now then they're over 300 cases, 300,000 cases. So the cases then can jump quick because of that carrier population where they can go around the population and they detect them easily. So now it makes this disease a little bit tricky than Ebola, and we need all the kind of thinking around surveillance and contact tracing for able to stop them.
What really caused this coronavirus? Because if we able to know, then maybe tomorrow before it gets out of hand, the world go able provide a solution or try for stop them. Because now we don't see just from a single case it turn out to be a pandemic. So waiting really cause them. Waiting and waiting we they do, or waiting in the atmosphere or the environment we're not good, where they expose you to this kind of health hazard here.
Okay, very good. It's a very good question. So the coronavirus is then a group of viruses that what they call zoonotic virus. Then virus that where you define the environment at some point, then also at some point go there in animals, and then at some point then they move from animals to human. So you get a large group of them where then they infect different animals, or then depend different animals from dogs to chicken to falden to bats to then shame beef and different animals. But now 7 of these viruses they are known for infect human and cause disease. Now 7 of them, and this new one, now make 7 where it starts December 2019. This novel coronavirus or COVID-19. But we've been done get the SARS COVID-1, we not the severe acute respiratory syndrome. COVID-1, we 10 years ago, we killed Boku people there, but it not go too far. Then later on, then we get the MERS, Middle Eastern respiratory virus, where it been there in the Middle East area, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and then countries then they around the Middle East. And instead, then they come up in various outbreaks, they kill people there. But this recent one here, it linked to the wildlife markets in China. China then get a different way how then they handle meat. Then get them wildlife, then let for eat them bats, then snakes, then they need for sell them shame beef, then any type of very wildlife they wouldn't can there around the world. Now delicacies them for them. And then let for eat them sometimes even raw, not much processed. So somewhere, if you look the sequence, the genetic sequence of the coronavirus right now, and you look the sequence from bats and from shame beef, they're very similar. Maybe now one sequence difference, one nucleotide, one letter difference, and just make the difference. So that they tell we say somewhere, then then viruses here jump from either the bat or the pangolin then, where they eat a specific wildlife market in China to human beings, so the fox index case. And just for let family then know about viruses, we say virus. A virus is something where at some point in lifetime, it not get life, it's stable. So it will survive na a table, who say it did. It will survive pan money, pan paper. It will survive pan if you get a stainless steel surface. It will survive like in a hospital. It will survive on a syringe for over, 20, 30, 50, even 1 month, 2 months, sometimes they can do it 3 months. Then they in that sort of non-living, when they not get life. But what they need is they need something where get life for let them continue their own life. So they need for to get a host. So anytime they come now in touch with a human being, they're able for them replicate, get into that person day, then continue their own life now, then spring up their life, then begin for divide inside you. And opportunistic animal then, because why? When they don't get a host, a suitable host, then one for let them divide into that host, and able for them capture the host in your sort of mechanism, so then they control the host rather than the host able to control himself. Then they go control you. So now the same thing that happen with the coronavirus. When it come into you as a mortal man, most of them can want for even go deep down into your lungs. And in that area, then they divide and conquer the lungs. Your lungs then want for kind of kick them out. And that process where your lungs then want for kick them out, now in they cause the lung for let it swell up or inflate. And then they cause that difficulty for breathe. So now one of the key symptoms of the coronavirus infection, that difficulty for breathe, for cough, because they lose oxygen, and in very serious situations, it end up for kill people then.
That's now been Professor Alhaji Injai, we been the talk to we, now scientist and lecturer na both FBC and commerce. Fumble them, we just don't get online Solomon Jamiu. Solomon Jamiu now the spokesperson for the EOC and the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. Hello, Mr. Jamiu. Okay, unfortunately we don't lost that call day, but family, if you just join we, this now your program where Slash and IIN they bring can to you. Will they try for you connect with the spokesperson of the EOC, Mr. Solomon Jamiu Esquire. Mr. Jamiu go join we anytime from now, and he go tell we waiting at the recent update, waiting to happen. So we go look this first day now the 3 days lockdown, waiting then see, waiting they observe, and waiting don't they go on. Remember, say they listen to we live on www.radiodemocracy.sl, courtesy of Osiwa and Africell. The program na special slash and IRN Corona Updates program. Not forget to say, you yourself waiting na Osiwa for your from you. Send your message to 077 981 981. Who will they bring the program can to you? My name is Patricia Ganda.
And my name is Foya.
Make we take short break and we will definitely come back.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, brother, sister, mama, papa, The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN, the baton we country salon, for make we get level playground. Now IRN don't enough, for make you know about your country. They give voice to you, man them. They give voice to woman them. All political party them. Right across the country. You go na the east, and you go na the west, you go na the north, and you on the south. IRM say yes to tolerance. We all get we rights. IRM say no to violence. No mix perfect like the blabber. But we all work together with one word. Cause now so we go up from it salon. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yeri yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yeri yo. Economy and well body business, quality education, decentralization, with agriculture and infrastructure, energy and power, with social welfare, for human rights, anything but development. Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yeri yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yeri yo.
Welcome back from this short break, Famble. Like how we've been saying, we've been trying to forget the spokesperson of the EOC, Mr. Solomon Jamiru. Mr. Jamiru, good evening and welcome to the special /IRN program. Famble, we still try to forget Solomon Jamiru because we won't forget update of what's going to happen inside the first day of the 3 days lockdown. It possible say something and the way they see whether or not they see all this time. So I go encourage you not for go. Continue for day near you radio. Hello, Mr. Jamiru.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Jamiru. You are the spokesperson for the EOC. Today, the first day of the 3 days lockdown. Waiting that happen throughout this day. Waiting are some of the updates where you go give me.
Well, first of all, we want to say plenty thank you. So we fumble them. We sit on our oath. We know say His Excellency the President, we don't announce the 3 days nationwide stay at home for able for help we for do a lot of contact tracing, for able for do some testing, but also largely the objective now for make we able for slow the spread of COVID-19. We fumbled them, no say this morning, now we 11 a.m. update. We don't record 2 new cases, 1 additional for Kenema, and the other one, now the index case for Bo. Well, as at 6:30 this evening, I want to make we fumble them, no say we don't get additional 9 cases. Where the 1 additional for Kenema, and 8 additional for Western Area Urban. So for today, the 3rd of May, we don't get a total of 11 cases. So that's so the cumulative confirmed positive now 166. Now the total cumulative positive cases 166. We'll not record any death, so the death don't of death remain at 8, and the cumulative recoveries remain at 29. But as at this evening, with total cumulative confirmed positive cases now 166. One for Bo, one for Bombali, one for Kenema, and 8 for Western Area Urban.
This means for the country as a whole, where the first day of the lockdown, we able to get 11 new cases. Waiting it means say the lockdown may really day in place?
Well, it means we surveillance team day at work. It means we they continue for do with testing. It means we they continue for do the things them what we supposed for do for make we able for address COVID-19. But generally, the lockdown now for make people sit down at home.
We don't lost Solomon Jamiu. We're so sorry. But I should say as the program they go, we go try forget and back. But it don't confirm that as at the 6:30 update, we don't get 166 new cases. It also confirms say we not getting no new death at all. And it also confirmed to we say we get new cases now some parts of the country where we not been get cases, and it's same way so confirm say we get the total number of death like how I say is still there at 8, and the new cases now. Hello.
I think I lost one for a while, but I'm glad it will be restored.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jami. You be there tell me about the new cases and what this mean for the country as a whole during the 3 days lockdown.
Well, the 3 days lockdown where we do now just one of the additional measures where we supposed to take for help with fight the coronavirus. And we believe from the signals so they get all over the country say Sierra Leoneans generally they comply with the lockdown, and then they give opportunity to the surveillance teams for able to identify cases. They give opportunity for able to do testing, and it also they give an opportunity for test generally what did happen in the fight against COVID-19. So we hope say at the end of these 3 days where we sit down for calculate the gains so we don't make, but also for be able to address the lapses. I think say it will be an interesting reading for we all, especially where we don't know now from evidence that the coronavirus, it moves through a lot of what we call the asymptomatic cases. A lot of people in there could get the virus, but they don't show the signs and symptoms. They're not go cough, they're not go sneeze, they're not go show shortness of breath. And because of that, because a lot of people the way they carry the disease, now they show the signs and symptoms, we fumble them get the risk for run into people that we already they get the virus. So it's important for me to all stay at home. It's important for me to deal with families, because the opportunity with coronavirus they look for spread. Now when people then they out in mass gatherings, then they touch their body, they touch themselves. As long as we not give coronavirus that opportunity, there is no way it will continue for transmit itself through the nation. So for we think that this is an additional measure way appropriate at this time, as the experts they don't advise. Especially when now, as His Excellency don't say, there is evidence of community transmission. About 90% or a little over 90% of the cases we will get epi-linked, but some remaining percentage we will don't link to community transmission. So for preserve the lives of the people, important for me to stay home and see what are some of the gains that we will get throughout these 3 days.
Some of the difference where we go see during this 3 days lockdown, where we not been seen at the first 3 days lockdown.
Well, the 3 days lockdown we don't get. Now, what it's supposed to do for we now, what we call progressive gains. In other words, some of the gains that we don't make in the past, like the initial 3 days lockdown we don't do, the inter-district lockdown and the curfew were still there in force. Now, for the 3 days we don't institute, we were able to progressively make additional gains. The 3 days lockdown where governments don't institute, I want to make a fumble the law. Not of us say this 3 days lockdown is going to be a 100% system. We don't begin make some gains. So what in these 3 days supposed to do for we, and for make we add to some of them gains then they will don't make. But by largely for the opportunity to the experts them for move into communities, able to identify cases and able for do what we call isolation. Apart from that, the fact say we all day home, we not move for 72 hours. It means say the virus itself slow. It means that the virus itself would able for stop in spread. And this now one of the best practices where experts then are able for introduce all over the world, not to Salone no more.
Make we talk about the surveillance issue, but the new district survey just gets the index cases. You go on for explain to we more how it happened.
Hello.
We go on no more about the surveillance of the district teams them because we get new districts that we get the index case. How it happen? We get this inter-district partial lockdown. So how come cases that they come up in a district we not ever report for cases?
Okay. So we need to understand say the lockdown it starts midnight on Saturday. So we just don't hit the first day of we lockdown. And anytime we report positive case, we get what we call the case management. We are in the investigate them positive case them and able to tell we how they come about. So until case management able to establish the link between the cases we don't emerge today and possibly the previous cases are not appropriate at this point for tell Fambul them how they come about. What is important at this point now for let Fambul them know say we don't get new cases we don't emerge. But once we're able to confirm from case management, from the investigations, how they come about, it will always be with pleasure for the family they know.
We want to tell you plenty. Thank you for talking to me, Mr. Jamil.
And I tell plenty thank you to Sludge IRN for this big sacrifice we want to make. Thank you.
That's now Solomon Jamil, now the spokesperson of the EOC. And if they talk to me, they give you an update. They don't confirm, say we get 166 confirmed cumulative cases. The program now the Sludge IRN program where they come to you from different radio stations them all about the country. As far as we don't come, we go take short break. Then we go come back. We go still go on line. We want for reach as far as both for talk to the mayor day for see what in don't do now in municipality for Fet Corona.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo. The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN. The baton we country Salone, for make we get level playground. Now I don't enough, for make you know about your country. They give voice to youth man them, they give voice to woman them, all political party them, right across the country. You go na the east, and you go na the west, you go na the north, and you go na the south, say yes to tolerance. We all get we rights. IRN say no to violence. No mix perfect like a blabber. But we all work together with one word. Cause now so we go up for make Salone. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo.
Welcome back from the music break. And not forget, say we want for you from you. Send you text message. The number is 077-981-981. Let me listen to one poem on the COVID-19. The one we colleague John Whitfield do for we.
It feels like the collapse of beauty. Some veil of solemnity has been dropped, and we can't breathe. We can't hug, we can't shake hands. The bond we share has been shattered and battered. This is what we have to tell ourselves. Because every time you look, the headlines are worse, and it begins to feel like the world is ending. Because I roamed empty stores, empty streets, fallout shelter staples like canned beans wiped clean, minds ransacked by panic. Music gone quiet, museums shorted, theaters dim, games quashed, stadiums and cinemas isolated. No one wants to be a victim. It feels like the collapse of beauty. Some veil of solemnity has been dropped and we can't breathe. This is what we have to tell ourselves. One phrase that kept popping in my head as I looked for solace was mediations in an emergency. It's all we need now, it seems. The country is grey and brown and white in trees, snows and skies of laughter always diminishing, less funny, not just darker, not just grey. We now live in a situation where we fake news, we tarnish views and spin reviews. We are all confused, some even refuse, and our minds are fused. But we can't give up, no. We are a resilient people. We are a resilient people. We are a resilient people. We have been through it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we overcame. Let's mediate to the Quran and the Bible. Yes, we can. We are able. Lay your head on the table and pray to God against all odds. Follow the necessary precautions. Don't be in a state of reaction. Wash your hands. Do eat for this land. Adhere to the lockdown. We will re-emerge. We will defeat. A time will come when we will socialize, but for now, we need to realize. So Sierra Leoneans, keep on praying, keep on believing. It is well.
That's the point where John Whitfield being do for we. And now on the coronavirus, we they go now bounce, and we get online the mayor, Lamine Josise. Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, good evening. May I me Joe Sunday.
Oh, good evening. How are you? Sorry for that mispronunciation day. Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
how the coronavirus they go on in your municipality?
At the moment, the Bond municipality not record any case of the coronavirus yet. We only don't get potential threats from Perry and Matrujong Chiefdom. The reason why Mrs. F as mayor don't go into self-isolation.
Okay, so what thing you they do now these 3 days for make sure say you not get no positive case?
A lot of consultational engagement are done there all this while. Most recently, we get a stakeholders meeting where be chaired by the deputy mayor, like I say, meeting now in self-isolation as a result of the Matru incident. And in the meeting we don't hold, present were the ONS representative, Ausla representative, Sierra Leone Maritime Administration representative, representatives from the Correctional Center, the medical superintendent and team, and other development partners for inclusion, Sierra Leone, World Vision, and others. All of them be there inside a meeting day. And one party team them who been actually aimed at was to send out correct messages on the coronavirus disease, with the medical superintendent, Dr. Bob Sisi, be able do. Therefore, also come out with resolutions and we will all go adopt as a people for prevent any occurrence of the disease na bond, though we don't get strong potential threat around we. And one part of the things that will be where the meeting will be narrow at, and for ensure say all boat them where they enter a bond, the latest time for reaching a bond at 6:30. Any boat beyond 6:30 they will ground them. And we also ensure say from starting from yesterday Saturday to next Saturday, no boat no go left bond for go na any part of the district, whether na Bagbatok, Yagwe or Matrujon, until after 1 week, because we don't get strong potential threats from Imperi and Matrujon children with neighboring areas then. So no boat don't get for move out at all. And any boat will get goods, for example, any goods, rice and other things, the food commodities, the way they come in, if run dock before 6:30, and that's if for the under strong surveillance. They also come together and agree for say in the process where boats then they go out for bring food commodities them, all the one they move for this side the boat for use face masks, and they also agree for enforce the bylaws and further for make sure say nobody in the middle of the night not take bugakunu for ferry people then at any part of from any part of the mainland bring the kind of bond and net where some say the person will get some kind of a sickness who will get then it bring account to the community and put the entire people at risk. We also don't work closely with Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone they do a lot of community engagement on the ground, and we also get other social groups. And for example, Divine Sisters. As these 3 days lockdown don't begin now, then they put food commodities together where they give to the disabled and the deprived people, the old people, they won't able to do anything for themselves. Then they can get out. We also get the Rupel Commercial Bank. Rupel Commercial Bank comes swiftly to aid the pastors. Them they make sure say they provide food for them. That are in the managing director, we inspector from Bond, and Mr. Morrison Conte from Bond. They do that and they provide food for the pastors. Them and the bank provide thermometer. It provides soap. It provides bucket and other sanitary materials. Them who don't put in strategic locations. Them all over the municipality. We also, on this date today, we see NACSA, they come down to the ground and for give 250,000 loans each to about 150 people. Them. We also see the councillors them because they don't really get some challenges for especially where they don't ground the boat them of them, all the one them way they get boat the way they move from one point to the other and looking at the challenges, financial challenges we don't get. The councillors don't come together for contribute and make sure say they provide food for them, boat owners, them for the about 20 something and more boats that they are born for provide food for them during this period of that. All that's for encourage them so that we all go there on the same page and fight this COVID-19 with the ravage the country so much.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, what thing you go describe as potential threats where you as you explain what you talk just now?
At the moment, like I say, with neighbors, close neighbors, we all the interface together, particularly at the major trade fair point them. Don't get the COVID-19, it don't hit them. Like I say, the Imperial Chiefdom and the Young Chiefdom. These are the major transit points them to Bond. They don't already get the COVID-19. And the number, the increase. In just 2 days' time, we'll get up to about 10. And like I also tell Una, myself as mayor, they interact with big people them from the mainland areas. Also, we don't get series of meetings and we understand, say, some of them positive of COVID-19. So I know with anybody for telling me I don't isolate myself and my entire family until we wait when the test will be done on the 7th of May for proof if whether any member of me family get them for so that we will seek immediate medical attention and prevent any spread of them to the community. So these are all major threats. We also get challenges in the municipality during all this period we will go through. We not say the hospital, if we were for very effective at this moment, the hospital for the in high readiness. We will notice it gets some electrical challenges. The electrification of the hospital will be very, very poor. The people of Bond come together, they form one group they call the Advocacy for Bond Government Hospital Electrification, and they don't contribute more than 29 to 30 million euros. The first phase of the project don't complete. And now I'll show you say from the theater to the major side in the hospital now get light, 24 hours light at the hospital. We will also get challenges with both. In case anything happen now, there is a case beyond the expertise on the ground. Half of move the patient from here to the mainland or to Freetown. We don't get any ambulance boat. The only ambulance boat will be get at the municipality. It work just 1 or 2 times. It spoil and can go back to Freetown with the aim for bring a come back to this moment. It has not come back from the previous government. and we have been lobbying all this while to get a boat we don't have. We not also get a standby ambulance na Yagoi. In case there is a situation, we'll go warrant for move a patient. There is no standby ambulance at Yagoi. That also is a very big potential threat. We also need for capacitate the nurses, the medical practitioners that will get to the municipality, for give them enough training in the IPCs and how to conduct themselves so that they're going to have to handle the patient then without being affected. So these are some of the challenges that we get. But one for Tego Tenki, we get some partners them all around when it comes to help. For example, EGF and Spronet, all of them they come to help. So I mean, we are very much encouraged as the people on a deprived island like Shabro Island, and we're very hopeful for, say, by the grace of God, the disease no go enter into the municipality of Bon, because if we enter, it will be very challenging. This is a riverine community. It's a very, very challenging environmental area. By this time, we say for don't get a functional radio 24 hours for send out messages. The radio boom could only down. But we have fed very hard together with the strong big people that from both for restaurant. And by the grace of God, we restaurant and we will come to air and do effective sensitization.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, as you explained, the neighbor business between Una with the one that the Una neighbor them is so strong that Una not feel say Una go able like adhere to some regulations them. You thought and fit say you for going to self-isolation. What about the one that you district where possibly don't come in contact with them positive 10 cases them? Then they're in isolation like how you do?
Yes, a good number of them we would talk to automatically. So initially, it was very difficult for us. Like I say, you know, when you go to the social media and some outlet them, it appear like for say if you talk say, oh, I don't interact with that person at the self-isolate, you know, the stigma, you know, the comment them when they come up. So plenty of people they get afraid, they can comment and so they know how to come out. Some people are doing it very quietly. But some of we think say no, we for rise up beyond that one and face the reality, we take the leadership so that others then wait to see the leadership in we themselves will able to identify themselves and sit on our own, particularly when they know say they don't interact with somebody when they don't declare positive. You know, so all of these are a part of the sensitization processes, and I think that we the leaders then a comment on we for set the example, just like His Excellency the President set that example. They will all follow suit. They're the one that we did behind, we just go learn and follow, and that kind of thing no go occur at all.
Okay, you don't see now say stigma and some kind of fear there around this sickness here. So for you people then are bound. Waiting at the next step for make sure say we dispel them fear there so they make people them even if like they come in contact with positive cases, they're not able like come out plain and talk will be interact. I think say we need for be quarantined or go into self-isolation.
First and foremost, we get for launch massive campaign for the responsible use of the social media because now all the problems begin. You know, this COVID-19, when people therefore know say, not only God, because God, Bible say, except God in watch over the city, the watchman will watch in vain. And that is what I see in this disease. You come on a house, okay, go down decide for protect yourself all throughout. But you get for it. If you family get for go to market, you don't know the keke is done inside, the first way you go buy to and come back in the house. You know, these are all challenges. In as much we get the best practices that we do now our offices again. We for pray to God and we for learn for share responsible messages. Tell people that not for create any panic, any fear, side comment them where they hurt other people them. Let me encourage each other as Sierra Leoneans and give yourself strength like I be happen in the Ebola time, so that anybody will no say me I don't get close contact with this person. We don't prove positive. A comment on me for be very nationalistic. A comment on me for save the life of my neighbor. A comment on me for save the life of the community. If I no one get no one get the inside situation and be and fair how best to be able to work together with the medical practitioners for gain healing. You know me to say because you don't get them, you are going to die. You know me to say because you don't get them, they are going to push you apart. These are the messages we want for step up with and let with people they know. So that this aspect of stigma, this aspect of feeling how my name will look like if they call me name on this one, as if you are a criminal. No, there is nothing about criminality in this one. This is sickness, we accept them as sickness, and for ready for talk say, yes, I interact with A, B, or C, and yes, I ready for Sidona us until the medical people then can't test me. If I'm not positive, fine, then we can go ahead. If I'm positive, then I need for take the next step for get medication and get well. Above it all, we see people in the well, a good number of people in the world, more than 20 people that don't recover. So why should anybody feel so depressed to an extent that they hide until he's sick, the sick man and die? I don't think it's right at all.
Plenty thank you, Mr. Mayor, for talk to we. That's not the mayor for Bonth Municipality. Lehemi Joe Sise in the talk to we online. Well, fumble them as far as they come. You know, we get different people the way we they talk to inside this program. Now we they look the economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic locally and internationally. How will they affect we locally as Salone people? How it affect the world, you know, the international world. We get Samuel Jamil Brahman, an economist and a lecturer at Frabe College, and this even gets for say.
The coronavirus still continue for doing worse than different countries them with a record case of the virus. Even though a good number they recover from the sick, but who still they die. The virus not just get health implication, but serve and bug the global economy. According to global reports, big shifts on take place at the stock markets. Also we see shares na companies and whether they buy and sell go affect boku investments them in pensions or individual savings accounts. Investors and the afraid say the spread of the virus could destroy economic growth and that the action where government and they take not don't be enough for tap in decline. Same way so, central bank them na different country they not they cut down on interest rates them. We mean say in theory, borrowing go get to be cheap and then go encourage spending for boost the economy. Inside Salone, the Ministry for Finance been do make projection especially when it comes to economic growth na different sector them.
Even before we get the first outbreak, already we have started experiencing potential impact of it. Direct impacts, the fiscal cost of infection, control, preparedness for isolation and treatment and related interventions in the health sector.
The voice then at the Minister for Finance, Jacob Jusu Safa, where they talk about the impact of the coronavirus on Salone economy, even before the country they take measures.
As we speak now, we've already started spending, and we expect to spend to scale up our spending. So that's the direct impact. The other impact is it disrupts a lot of economic activities. Our modeling shows, for example, that the growth for this year was estimated at 5.1%. We expect that to drop to 3.8% by the end of the year, even before we get our first case, if the situation continues like that. All sectors are going to be affected. I just give you a highlight. Services sector. The services sector include the tourism sector largely itself. And you know what tourism means to this country. The hotels, as I speak to you, are now empty. I mean, workers are going to be sacked. When hotels are empty, it means we are not getting GST from those hotels, but that's going to be affected. Overall growth in the services sectors is projected to drop to 2% from 5.1%. In the budget, we projected 5.1% together with the IMF. Our current projections is 2%.
The minister go before for talk about the impact to the coronavirus could get on transport economically.
Transport will drop from 5% to 2.5%. But the important aspect I want to stress on is on revenue. Total import-related revenues, including import duty, import GST, withholding income taxes on import, are on downward trajectory from January to February to mid-March. Between January 2020 and March 2020, import-related revenues are projected to drop by at least 30% this quarter. China, one of the Salone's major trading countries, has its import-related revenues declined from 37 billion in January 2020 to a projected 16 billion in March 2020. That is a 56% decline. With Europe, another major trading partner, being the main epicenter of the virus, it is obvious that the overall adverse impact of import revenues will be huge in Sierra Leone. Preliminary import duties are projected to decline by 25% from an original projections of 852 billion to 639 billion for 2020.
They continue for talk about the impact rate this gets now on even goods and services tax when at the GST.
Domestic and import GST is projected to decline from 1.2 trillion originally projected to 960 billion in 2020, representing a drop of 22% in absolute terms, 281 billion. The airlines are going to be affected. They are not coming, therefore no revenue coming from that. And even the shipping lines, another GST is going to be seriously dented by the global pandemic is the state levy collected by CRM Maritime Administration. This is estimated to decline by 12 billion. Otherwise, paying. When companies close down, redundancies take place, pay-as-you-earn tax will be affected. So that's another revenue stream going to be affected.
Now that we don't know say the economic impact is huge, people and still they expect governments for adjust. So waiting governments plan for do for cushion the burden so that the ordinary man no go to feel the pinch. JJ Safa again.
One objective is to sustain the stability, to build in stock levels and maintaining price stability. You need to make sure there's enough fear in the market. You need to make sure there's enough rice, enough onions, enough oil, enough essential commodities. How do you go about that? One way we're looking at, because we had discussion with business people, we're discussing possibilities of tax breaks or probably tax deferment and cuts where necessary. We're looking at the figures. We have to defer taxes for some businesses and allow them to import huge volumes to avoid short. We're working with Central Bank to create special facilities for businesses to enable them to continue operations. Special facilities could mean negotiate with the banks for lower interest rates for some businesses. One of the problems we had with the Ebola fight was that the business sector was not very focused. But we want to keep some of them in business and probably give them tax deferment to maintain part of the workers in their industries. Because there's massive job cuts now as I speak to you. I personally went to 3 hotels on observation. We don't know how already started taking place. I think we have to move in and see how we can salvage those situations. The other thing the business community is looking for is foreign exchange. I mean, that's why reserves are meant for. Well, the question of why do you keep reserves when you are broke? But the people always have that question. When you say you have 500 million reserves, reserves are really meant for this type of situation, so they can. And our current reserve capacity is about 3.5 points of import, which means if we are not exporting anything, we can survive as a country for over 100 days. So that's how serious we are as a government. We always think ahead.
That's the Minister for Finance, Jacob Jusu Safa. For the sound of all generations, John Whitfield.
Well, if you join the program, you listen to a special program where RN and Sludge they come to you.
That's been Samuel Jamiru Brahma, an economist and lecturer at FBC. We will talk to you about the economic impacts of the coronavirus sickness Salone and also internationally. Well, members, this is a special program we'll call Corona Talk, where they reach you from different radio stations from across the country. And at the Salone Association of Journalists and the Independent Radio Network come together for bring this program to you as part of Sludge and Corona Response Initiative. Well, with the broadcast from Radio Democracy on FM 98.1, and you can get me live on www.radiodemocracy.sl, where Osiwa is support and powered by AfriCell. And members, you can access the program through the Radio Democracy 98.1 FM Facebook page. Continue for the with me.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up King for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN. The baton we country salon for make we get level playground. Now I don't enough for make you know about your country. They give voice to you man them, they give voice to woman them, all political party them, right across the country. You go na the east, and you go na the west, you go na the north, and you go na the south, say yes to tolerance, we all get we rights. I say no to violence, no mix perfect like a blabber, but we all work together with one word, cause now so we go up for make Salone. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio. Brother, sister, mama, papa, unayerio.
Members say before we will get Solomon Jamiri online, we better give you about the recent updates where the EOC don't pull for today, May 3rd, as the country starts the first day of the second national lockdown. We will also get Professor Inja, where they tell you about the science nature of the COVID-19 sickness, where it will continue for Musaibi stop.
Even go deep down into your lungs. And in that area, they divide and conquer the lungs. The lungs, you lungs them one for kind of kick them out. And that process where you lungs them one for kick them out, now in they cause the lung for let it swell up or inflame. And then they cause that difficulty for breathe. So now the one of the key symptoms of the coronavirus infection, that difficulty for breathe, for cough, because they lose oxygen, and in very serious situations, they end up for kill people then.
All right, so Prof, just in a brief and in a very clear way, we want to know like the differences exactly and the similarities with between Ebola and that of this coronavirus disease. So we talk of now.
What are the differences, huh?
Similarity in clear form, so that Migrani will listen possibly we will understand that.
Yeah. So for Ebola virus, Ebola na another different family of viruses. Them, the corona is a different family. So if you buy like a way you did Sierra Leone, you will get like a, Mende, Timni, we all are Sierra Leoneans, but we get different tribes. And Ebola virus is mostly you find more of the viruses than within Africa. And then also tend to be hemorrhagic. Now we call them viral hemorrhagic fevers. Then basically Ebola, when you go into mortal man, it's much more deadly. It kill person very fast because Ebola, they go all over your body. It affects your lungs, it affects your kidney, it affects your heart, it go up to your brain, it go all over your body. And it make way somebody die from Ebola. In fact, but when that dead body, you take small, you scrape the skin of that person, it's small. You get over 1 million viral particles if you scrape the body, the biopsy. So the Ebola very, very, very deadly. But Ebola now a contact disease. You get for almost touch the person. You get for don't touch the person in saliva, you touch in spit, or you come close to the dead body, when they wash them, you touch them. Without that, you not get problem with Ebola. Ebola not they go in the air. Ebola not respiratory. So you know they get that issue. So even though it's deadly, it's very difficult for catch Ebola, like somebody catch Ebola. And I make, even we've been there, we'll get Ebola in Sierra Leone. We create lockdown them, but not been too, people let me they still move around in some places and do them things them. Plane then still in the kind of the country, then they left the country, then they get problem. But with coronavirus, they kill as much as Ebola. Like, for instance, right now, coronavirus don't affect over 1 million people in the world. It only don't kill around 69,000 people then. If na Ebola been don't affect 1 million people in the world, if we don't kill over half of that population, now that comparison, if we think about that. So, but coronavirus, because it's contagious than Ebola, they catch people then fast. If we less like it happen in Sierra Leone, it will infect everybody in the population. Over 70% of the population, all man will get her. And if all man get her, even if you not die, it will overwhelm the healthcare system. It will affect the healthcare. We will not get size for put bed. Like what they happen in New York City right now. New York City don't run out of bed in hospitals. Doctors, they're not able anymore. Nurses, they're not able. They need help from other states then. So it quickly overwhelm the system because of what I've been done explained earlier. You they get on through contact with surface then, you they also get on from respiratory droplets from the sick person. So it's very contagious. And think about how close we did to one another in Sierra Leone. Projections and they right now from statisticians. So I work with Professor Lawrence Kamara, we at the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Bay College, where he don't do various modeling them for Ebola. In some of the modeling them way they do right now based on we projections and for Sierra Leone, it will almost hit 70% of the population or more. And so now it make we need for do some of these stringent efforts then now. for sensitize the population and build some of these measures, and so that we not get to that 70%. We lower them, we flatten out, we spread out the infections, and we make sure say we flatten until so that we slow until we get to that zero. So it not get to many people. If we not take some of these measures now, it'll go out of hand. And it don't happen in Italy, it don't happen in China, it don't happen in Spain, it happen all over the world. Guinea, just in one day, then get 38 cases, then don't go up to 100 something now. So you think about it very quickly. Ghana, then don't go up. Egypt and all those countries. So as soon as you left the handle small, you get problem with coronaviruses, because it overwhelm your healthcare system, it overwhelm the economy of the country. Think about Sierra Leone now. If we get for do 3 days now, then if we not get a handle on now, we get for do 14 days. And if we not get a handle on now, we get for do 21 days. If we not catch that handle again, we'll go 1 month. So now it make everybody for work, law will not get to that point.
Okay, now we don't see how one country in case that affects the entire world. So waiting now for do for face this pandemic, because as you said, I think the way they use we as mortal man for survive. What if like the next year or 5 years after we get same kind thing like this? Waiting we for do now for make sure say we go learn this lesson now from this coronavirus and make sure say the other time now or other years after we not get the same kind pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. Because the big thing will happen to we in Sierra Leone. We get Ebola outbreak, and with the Ebola outbreak, now be a big opportunity missed for we in this country. So we no need for start scratch from the scratch. When we get Ebola, Nayaso and Guinea and Liberia, all kind support can, all kind help can, all kind things can. We've been getting a fantastic opportunity, a window that time for build the best healthcare system in West Africa, for build the best highly trained epidemiologists and highly trained doctors and way them be able to handle this kind of situation and outbreak. We've been getting opportunity for build top-notch laboratory capacity, but somehow we left the handle on that. So now we start scratch with Corona, we don't come. We not get the level where we for able prepare for this. And so this is a big lesson now. Think about all the countries now, America, Europe, China, they all they face this battle. They not get no ideas now. They know they come for can help with. So now if we get out of this, we really get for prioritize research, prioritize how for develop we healthcare system, how for train young people in Sierra Leone, with them talented, that they teach a lot of medical doctors and people in Afrobe College, really train with young people, then let them become into these areas. Use we army, for instance, take some of we army, put them into army medical corps, put them at reserve, because when you get epidemics like this, the most effective people will go out and do the work. The Army Medical Corps, then we then train in both medical outbreaks, then but also then get the security thinking. Because right now, even if you put policeman then out, you put army man then out, if you then not get the training, then they go get more infections. Because then go hold somebody, they not even know that person get the disease. They not even know that person. They not get the right training for how to put gear on. So all them things are very important as a country. Now we sit down and think about that and plan for the future and build that. Where it gets to be prioritized by prioritized by we government and also the private sector.
One was a plain thank you to you. In name now, Professor Alhaji Injai, lecturer Department of Biological Sciences, FBC, and lecturer na the Macrobiology, College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, Commerce Research Fellow, University of Wisconsin, Madison, USA.
Well, that's not been the professor will be tell you about the scientific nature of this coronavirus sick way done the Hamburg Salone and the rest of the world. Members say this is a special program called /IRN Corona Talk, where they give you updates about different things them whether they happen during these 3 days second national lockdown. And members say they reach free from different radio stations them across the country.
Family, then we go take a short break and then we'll definitely.
The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN. The baton we country salon. For make we get level playground. Now IRN don't enough. For make you know about your country. They give voice to you, man them. They give voice to woman them. All political party them. Right across the country. You go na the east, IRN. And you go na the west, IRN. You go na the north, IRN. And you go na the south, IRN. Say yes to tolerance. We all get we rights. IRN say no to violence. No mix perfect right a blabber. But we all work together with one word. Cause now so we go help for make salon. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yeri yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yeri yo.
Fumble them. Let we go now and join Samuel Jamiru Brahima. Samuel Jamiru Brahima, an economist and a lecturer at Afrabe College. It look this coronavirus, how it affect we locally and internationally.
Well, I mean, one thing where it clearly states now we greatest business partner in the world, you know. China don't become we largest exporter and almost second to EU in the importation field. So if China don't, they are the heart of the global economy. And we expect, say, in fact, I mean, the figures that we don't, they come from the global organizations, them, this month. Because United Nations Conference on Trade and Development last week, they say the shortfall will be about 2 trillion. Then just yesterday, they said about 4.1 trillion. So you go imagine that kind of thing there. And then they expect say 2/3 of the impact will be faced by China itself. And if that they happen, given that, I mean, China now one of the largest, in fact, China now the highest supplier of goods in more than 100 countries in the world. So you can see the impact which China don't get on the global market and how anything will affect them, you know. Just like in the early 18th, 19th centuries, and say when France catches cold, the whole of Europe sneezes. So that kind of thing don't happen now where China, at the heart of the world economy, don't get this kind of effect. So it go hit we hard. And you already say, you see, we in our country they import nearly everything. That's not one thing but we country. We they import everything. So the thing where they can happen now, we import and they fall. Of course, we export they don't fall drastically. So trade balance they go back into a deficit. And just at the time when we need government for expanding expenditure, you know, revenue they fall. So you can imagine say we we balance of we budget deficit get for increase. I mean because these are things that we government just get for spend pan. I mean we all here we World Bank give with $7.5 million. Then they just go for the street children, destitute beggars, PWDs, that sort of thing. Imagine if this kind of thing not been be government been done ready for spending kind of money and SMEs for promote business, you can sweat it for them happen in the country. But this one thing where people then for really know. Now where things that they happen in the country, so they divert all resources to one sector. We all know say the country get Boku sectors. Then they divert all resources to one sector. We all know say that you go hit the economy too badly. And the world economy go dwindle more. I mean, they don't estimate say between 0.09 and 0.4% of GDP go fall. That's between 77 billion and $374 billion on the world global stage. The one that where you have open, then you own the candle, where you have open there. So you will see say we really dey in a very dire straits, you know. And we don't operate on shoestring budget. You know, imagine now the enormosity of the kind of resources we need for get beds, get facilities, you know. So the country really they in their straits for now. But I mean, one thing we all they pray for now for me the spread, the extent of the spread calm down. because now that one they get for determine the total ramifications. For now, now just we all worried because I mean we don't get this kind of thing once and we want for see and the kind of effects that we don't put them in measures I think say we really work towards that but really the economic struggles is still there. Scientists and the Fed for Fed the pandemic. Economists and they think but the fallout, the economic fallout right now. And it's serious for the globe and for Sierra Leone in particular. We don't just try for push the economy further. Here is a will GDP go fall because the global economy, world GDP, fall below 2.5%. And then the Asian Development Bank don't just come out with recently. So if that really happen, the global economy, where they put all the averages together, so the small economies themselves go really get the pinch of them.
Now, as an economist, even this statement here, so the minister make even before we get a case. You see, say the coronavirus don't begin impact the economy of the country. How same way so we dey talk about sub-regional and same way so cross-border because we get other countries that we are in, we dey go get some source of resource and cross-border economic activities themselves we can carry on. This get forget any impact as well in that area there.
Cross-border trade is massive between Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea, and even Ivory Coast, state to Mali. You know, yeah. So if this kind of thing on everybody they lock down, imagine. I mean, Adamika talks say they import everything. Then imagine you they import everything, then they don't block outside the thing and they come out. So the few things the way they did. And one thing within the business environment, where business not sorry for poor people. The business environment, the moment of certainty can they, you know, price hikes then they take place. Because then they try for plan for the future as against the basic consumer own problems for say I get fixed income, price then just the increase. So you see this sort of thing. I get 100, the own trade, bread na 10 cents, then bread go 30 cents.
As we already see, because even during this lockdown, by the time the Mara business people and all increase price of
Pepper don't go 5,000 for cup,
yeah.
you know. So you can imagine how this they hit the households then, and we get households then will be just the
exactly because one for also think of the layman, the common man. How really this?
They are the council. Yes. Households them don't they are the margin. Man they just they manage. Then thing can get harder. So it depress them more. You see, the economy really, the individuals, more even take the micro level, then might will be the wrong go China, go buy things. The exposure, business expertise when they get, all that they don't get lost. Now lost to the economy, you know? Yeah. The electrical parts they all will be done, they get over time. And the few we don't do those now get for fed for. So at the micro and macro level, the economy really get for be hit hard. The thing is, government get for suffer too much because even when they talk about the small businesses where this thing go to affect, we dey expect say government will get for talk to the central bank for make them reduce interest rates for make the small businesses they able get some loans. And even there we dey expect say again they go extend even the payback period for the small businesses for make them survive. You know, because small and enterprise development be don't be a program for this country because they don't see say a large proportion of business community dey na that sector dey. So this economy now, this where this don't be, it don't hit themselves so hard that government get for fair measures. Amidst the high expenditure they face, it get for fair measures in which it get for cushion the small and medium scale enterprises and for make the economy not go too bad.
How for manage the situation going forward?
As I been say before that time, I say government now get for really take a greater stand because now in revenue they drop, but it need for spend because you can't move away from that angle. Government get for spend massively. They need for do some cash transfer for the vulnerables. They need for get special safety net, you know, for even then corona infected households, you know, then kind of thing they all get for campaign. And eventually, one side where government get for look at now how for help with businesses, not for die. And then they get for yeah, I mean somebody even mentioned they say why government not go left taxes. Government get for look at that side. They get for send a blind eye to some taxes for make we go get the basic goods and services for coming. We always we don't maintain 3 months import. That one they done day from last fiscal year. That one they the good thing no more way they help we. We don't maintain 3.5 months of imports. So that is a good cushion. But for many businesses, they go continue as ongoing entities government get for play a role. Perhaps it get for come with some innovative financial schemes, for see how it will help the businesses for continue for grow, and then we will provide the goods and services where people they will need. Or else price then go escalate, and the poor man go really suffer too badly. So government get for make sure say it get for not get for free or year deficit. You got me. We will get deficit pervasive in Sierra Leone all the while. So it not will be them force. Even though them don't try for cut and all, but this time they have to as a necessity. So that's another thing for government.
Okay, how about if we look at from this angle, small timid salon, because like the borders then close, like the airspace closed, the ports they all now closed, like we dey see say even some basic things they will need in a day, and the small way available, they expensive for buy. You know things so for like a land for spend less on the importation and try for like a manufacture things they would need.
Well, like how Deputy Minister said, this is not an opportunity for more look inwards. Now, all thing for the import. Now, one question we get for us as a country now. Because we don't see if they import everything, it will be a problem. Even the rest of it today.
But also, look at the possibility of us, or maybe the manpower, or the I mean, we strength as a nation for produce what we want for consume.
Young man, me and one person will be the always they talk say Salone. The swamps are no more within some of the areas they able to produce the amount of rice we need in a Salone. I mean, but even at that, we get alternatives. But we Sierra Leoneans don't get stuck with rice. That's not one problem. So we get for look inward. We can produce more bananas, we can produce more plantains, we can produce more yams. But really, this is an opportunity for more see whether we'll go to rice production and some food production for exportation as a way out.
How about encouragement for like invest in agriculture? Because now one thing what we cannot
now
do
we
without.
talk. I mean, we need for produce for ourselves. If we invest in agriculture in a good way, because we will produce rice what they eat, we will produce cassava and potato they will want, and pepper and anything, and we will trade around there across the borders. We get cross-border trades quite a lot. We palm oil na one good thing around, we garri na one good thing, but we dey stuck with rice. So we eating habit self, they impose pressure on our economy.
Okay, well, in Samuel Jamilu Brahma, and an economist and a lecturer at FBC, and he done the tell way about the impact where this coronavirus pandemic gets on the economy locally and internationally. Plenty thank you for joining me inside the studio.
And also we go say thank you to Samuel Jamilu Brahma because it all open we eye and the economic impact of the coronavirus locally and internationally. Fumble them, we don't come from 8 o'clock this morning and we go left you 8 o'clock this evening time. But make we dey take the IRN tune as we dey plan for wrap up.
The Independent Radio Network, IRN, don't team up king for Gud Mornin Salone and development. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo. Brother, sister, mama, papa, una yo. The Independent Radio Network, where we they call IRN. The baton we country salon for make we get level playground. Now I don't enough for make you know about your country. They give voice to you man them, they give voice to woman them, all political party them, right across the country. You go to the east,
Well, family, now so this segment of the Corona Talk go left Una for today. We've been on there with Una from 8 o'clock this morning. And we go there with Una again tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock sharp in the morning. Join me for another broadcast of the second day for the 3 days lockdown. We're executive producer na James Tambaleri. The producer them na Alhaji Wusha Conte, Daniel Amara and Kelvin Lamin Lando. Now Franklin Bemabi and Musa S. Kamara make Una see we na Facebook. Plenty thank you to DJ Ahmad who give you technical support. We will bring this segment of the Corona Talk. Me na Patricia Ganda.
And me na Merisia Foya, and plenty thank you to Mohammed Basiru Sanusi we been stepping.
Salone and development. Brother, sister,